The UN's announced that it's hitting pause on the pullout of peacekeepers from eastern Congo. This after a panel of experts sent its conclusions Monday that Rwanda had sent some 3,000 to 4,000 troops to eastern Congo since 2021. The panel of UN experts going even further, saying that Kigali had, quote, de facto control of the M23 rebellion in North Kivu province. Kathy Kadir-Clifford has the story.
Condemnation at the UN Security Council after a report it commissioned found Rwandan soldiers had fought alongside Tutsi-led M23 rebels in East DRC, matching, if not surpassing, the group's estimated numbers of 3,000.
De facto control and direction over M23 operations also renders Rwanda liable for the actions of M23.
The UN Special Envoy to the DRC told the Security Council the Rwandan government's support to the rebel group has enabled it to make major territorial gains, sparking the risk of a wider regional conflict.
The security situation in eastern DRC has continued to deteriorate, reaching alarming levels of violence and civilian displacement. I am extremely concerned about the rapid expansion of the movement du 23 mars M23 in North Kivu and the spillover in South Kivu.
The Special Envoy also welcomed a truce in the east of the country that began last Friday. Eastern Congo has struggled with armed violence and mass killings as more than 120 groups fight for power, land and mineral resources. The UN's findings bolster Kinshasa's accusations that its neighbour has been backing the rebel group, claims that Rwanda denies. For several months, the US and the EU have joined the DRC in calling on Kigali to withdraw its forces from Congolese soil.
The Democratic Republic of Congo will defend its territorial integrity, while remaining open to a political resolution of the conflict with Rwanda through diplomatic means. However, this path will only be credible if Rwandan troops effectively withdraw from Congolese territory.
The UN peacekeeping mission in the DRC has announced it will now pause its planned withdrawal, with no timeline set for the next phase.
Joining us from Ghent in Belgium, he's a past staff member for the group of experts on Eastern Congo for the United Nations. With us is Josaphat Musamba, Doctoral Researcher at the Department of Conflict and Development Studies of Ghent University. Thank you for speaking with us here on France 24.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for associating me in this debate. And I'm ready to give my analysis on the
so
crisis.
My first question to you is the conclusions were very pointed, very clear when it comes to Rwanda's role. Where does this, first off, put the United Nations now at this point, hitting pause on the withdrawal of peacekeepers from Eastern Congo, which have been there now for more than 2 decades? What does that portend, this report?
I think that as you said, the accusation between Rwandan government and Congolese government, we might see this tension, how far the Congo government perceive the rebellion. For me, I think now the experts were really open and clear with their conclusion. And since 2021, 2022, if you read the most report, some of them were just concluding about the presence of Rwandan Defensive Force in Eastern Congo, and considering their techniques, I think that experts, they do have proof, they do have evidences on that, including photo and other testimonies. So I don't think that this is new, but what is new is we do have a lot of military troops in Eastern Congo, and we don't understand why. Myself, I don't take position on the Rwandan side, but I think that there is two ways of addressing these issues. Sometimes we see rebel group, even though the Rwandan troops are just backing M23, and some of them have been the trained M23. But we don't. I don't deny and reject the fact that some rebel group like Makenga and John Amani Zenze, these are Congolese, especially John Amani Zenze. I know personally John Amani Zenze, who is he comes from Bukavu, from South Kivu, and he was part of the wider leader of M23.
Okay, so there's a mix, is what you're saying, of different groups. But here and specifically, they're talking about the M23. And the M23, which seemed to have petered out, then had a resurgence. How do you explain according to this report, why is Rwanda all in behind the M23?
Yeah, so we do have, as I said in the beginning, yeah, I address the crisis like a transnational dimension of a civil war. And as you see, Rwanda and M23, they have a sort of common claims. Now, M23, like AFC, they have been just claiming about the return of refugees. This is one thing. Even though at the beginning they were just saying that Kinshasa would respect their agreement because they were just saying they had not negotiation. They had a lot of meeting with Kinshasa before they resumed their rebellion. So now Rwanda was as well was saying that the genocidaires like FDLR were just threatening Rwanda while they were located or stationed across.
And on that score, what has your research found? What is the reason why Rwanda is supporting the M23? Is it to root out those extremist militias that are Rwandan, Hutu militias that are Rwandan, or are there other motives?
So I think we do have two reasons. The first, they keep saying that they are supporting M23 because FDLR is kind of menace of Rwanda. Secondly, I think there is other reason because they keep saying that Rwandan speaking who are living in Congo have been under menace, have been threatened by Congolese rebellion. So they have that's not right to protect those minority. But for me, I don't think this is the true reason because we have to mix as well the agency of those rebellion. It could be the Makenga and the other, and Rwandan reason.
So let's just to make it clear, let's call up a map now of the area we're talking about, and we can see on this map that there are various shades of where the M23 has been operating since the year 2022, just in the past 2 years, and you see the different shades of where they've been, and it's interesting, Josaphat Musamba, because there's also the question of could the part of the motive be economic? We had the State Department on Monday putting out a warning to companies about tantalum mines recently taken over by the M23 and its backers. How much of this is about money, about coveting precious minerals?
Yeah, I currently I don't have precise amount. I don't have precise amount, but we know that since M23 is now extending its territorial control, there is several concern about taxes, about roadblocks, about the way they've been controlling or imposing taxes to minors. But I think we need to address these issues in two ways. The first is like to understand the way M23 and RDF have been extending their territorial control to stop their FRDC. This one thing to be like they are controlling certain area. They need to master the area. This is one thing. The second is like some people keep saying that they are now protecting the roots of mineral. This is one thing, but we know that some mineral have been just leading or driving, going to some people say to Rwanda, but we know that as well, even in South Kivu, where M23 is not controlling several spaces, we know that smuggling activities have increased, and we know that, as the UN group expert noticed, that the smuggling activities increased in South Kivu, and it goes to Rwanda as well in Burundi, including in Uganda.
A quick question on this, because the report also singled out, alleges that there's a role played by Uganda. What's Uganda's role? What's in it for them?
So this is another issue, and I think that Uganda was like rejecting those allegations. Uganda was like rejecting those allegations, but since some report and investigation from Ugandan journalists, and as the report said, we know that from Ituri, they had a connection with Uganda from Ituri, from North Kivu as well, and wood planks. Like timber, we know how far, including gold, we know how gold was smuggling and take the direction to Uganda. So the involvement of Uganda from the perspective of Congo government, like since the M23 is controlling Bunagana, and Uganda has border with Congo through Bunagana. So if Uganda is supporting Congo, why it couldn't, or the UPDF couldn't just fight M23 in that area? So this is part of accusations, but I don't think that Uganda, myself, I know that Uganda and the FRDC, they do have a joint operation over ADF, but it's another debate, it's another debate.
And unfortunately, we're out of time. Josaphat Musamba, many thanks for joining us from Ghent in Belgium.
Exactly. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Much more to come here on France 24, including the countdown to France versus Spain semifinals of Euro 2024 in Munich.